The early June wind was warm and humid. It slid across Ruth's bare arms and cheeks as she cut through the air, coasting on her bike down the short hill away from town. Through a thin alley, down a sandy path to her right, she saw a spark of blue, and as she pressed her brakes and slowed to a stop, the ocean surrounding Block Island came into view. The rain had let up during the ferry ride over, and the sun was growing stronger. Dazed, Ruth watched small waves break upon the sand, and she wondered if she had ever been this alone in her life. She was 17. Her mother was dead. Her father had put her on a boat and shipped her off to an island, and now she was meant to find a woman she had never met before and didn't know anything about. A woman named Diana. Only an hour before, Ruth had been sitting in the passenger seat as her father, Joel, pulled his old Ford van up to the curb and parked across from the ferry dock in Galilee, Rhode Island. The smell coming off the fishing boats clashed with the coffee steaming out of the styrofoam cup in Joel's hand, making Ruth's empty stomach turn. Putting her head against the glass, she stared out the car window as seagulls swarmed over a piece of trash on the sidewalk, squawking and pecking at the empty plastic bag as a light rain began to fall. Joel cleared his throat, and Ruth turned to her father. They hadn't spoken all morning. His eyes were puffy and faintly bloodshot, making the blue in them pop. He had shaved, and there was a bloody nick near his ear that was now dry and flaking. Paint stains speckled his canvas work vest. Grabbing a grease-stained receipt from a McDonald's bag on the floor, he pulled a pen from his pocket, tested it on the corner of the paper, and wrote a name and number on the back of it. As she watched him write, Ruth wondered if he remembered the cell phone she had for emergencies was broken, a plastic brick at the bottom of her backpack, or if he assumed there would be a payphone on the island, or if any of this had crossed Joel's mind at all, if he was concerned about sending her off without a way to contact her. He didn't seem it, and Ruth wasn't surprised. It wasn't that her father was intentionally reckless, but somehow she always ended up fending for herself when he was in charge. It was hard not to feel like she was being ejected from her old life, from her family, but Ruth was resigned to it now, everything passing through her mind in a thick fog, her reaction slow. She had fought Joel at first, but she was tired of fighting now. If this was what he wanted, then fine.
"All right, then,"
he said, handing her the receipt.
"Off you go. If you can't find Diana, call me at work and I'll tell you how to find Sarah and Bill."
Ruth tried to remember the last time she saw her father's friends. She had a vague memory of running across their small backyard while the adults sat in low folding chairs, the smell of burning tiki torches and cigars coloring the air. "Why can't I just stay with them?" Ruth asked. Her voice was almost breaking, and she dug her short fingernails into her palm to fight the emotion back. She didn't want him to see her cry.
"It's a good opportunity,"
he said, his voice robotic.
"Get you out of the diner for a change."
"How do you even know this woman?" Ruth asked, staring down at the scribbled name and number, Diana Beckett, 401-885-0933.
"Your mom worked with her when she was on Block Island that summer. She's an artist. They were friends."
Ruth wondered if Diana had come to her mother's funeral, and then she pushed that thought away. There hadn't been many people there.
"Okay,"
Joel said. Unable to put it off any longer, Ruth stuffed the receipt in the back pocket of her jean shorts, opened the car door, grabbed her bag from the back seat, and headed out into the rain. Joel got out too, pulled Ruth's bike out of the van, and rolled it toward her.
"Let me know when you get settled,"
Joel said. He hovered as if to hug Ruth, but didn't, and Ruth noticed then how tired her father looked, how drained of life, and she felt guilty for causing it. She was tired of being a problem, tired of her grief making him upset.